and welcome back to A Traveling Knitter. I'm your host Steph, coming to you from Dayton, Ohio. It is December 8th, Saturday at I think 10:30 in the evening, nighttime. For completed quests, we again have something. It looks so big. So this is my Traveling Cables hat by Purl Soho, and it did end up pretty big. So I left off, I'm pretty sure I left off one of the cable repeats, and it still ended up pretty big, and essentially I have it folded pretty much right where the brim starts. I can put it on for you. So you can see there's a lot up here. I actually kind of blocked it to be slouchy, so I think it looks pretty cute. And yeah, you know, you can wear it over over your ears, or a little bit higher up. I think it ended up looking really nice. So yeah, this is the Traveling Cable hat by Purl Soho, and this is a gift knit. I did end up blocking it. It's Impeccable, which is a 100% acrylic yarn, so it didn't, you know, it didn't do anything. I knew it wasn't going to, but I blocked it in the hopes that it would smell like the soap, which it doesn't. It didn't really get it, but it did soften the yarn up a little bit. It doesn't feel as plasticky anymore, so yeah, pretty happy about it. Obviously the size, I wish it was just a smidge smaller, but I didn't gauge swatch. It's a hat. I think it'll be fine. And that is a Christmas knit for a friend. It did not use up the entire skein of Impeccable. I have some left over, and I had already used some of the yarn from that skein. So if you buy one skein of Impeccable, you can make a hat, and maybe even go down a needle size and make it a bit smaller. You could maybe make two hats. I feel like I would have been fine to take out another one of these repeats, and then it would have been closer to the head. But one completed quest, and that puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes in a row where we have a completed object. That's pretty awesome. Now for current quests, there are some. The first one is these socks. So you will see that they're just tubes at this point. So I do need to cut in the heel. These are knit in Sweet Sparrow yarns, in the Rudolph and Clarice colorway, in the Nuthatch base. Then the mini is Lolo Did It, her Lil Lolo, in the Fawn colorway, and I did it for the cuff and the toe. Now I wasn't sure if I would have enough to be able to do the heel, and it's over there. I definitely do. Now I haven't waited to see how much I have, but if I had known, or if I do have enough, I wish I had made the cuffs a little bit longer. I really don't like knitting cuffs because the way that I knit my socks is I cast on with double pointed needles, and I knit the cuff double point, and then I switch to 9-inch circulars to knit the rest of this, and I don't like knitting on DPNs. So they are pretty much perfect pairs. I purposefully started with a small bit of pink for the second one, which is what I had started with on the first one, and I knit the exact amount of repeats and ended on the darker pink. So there's not too much to say about these. I need to figure out where I'm gonna put the heel, and my goal with these was to knit the entire skein, but I still have this much left. I also haven't weighed this, but I have a feeling it's at least 20 grams. So I don't know what to do with stripy scraps. So I could have made these longer, but when I was knitting on these, when I was getting to the end of the first one, I wasn't somewhere where I could grab a scale out. So I kind of just used my best judgment and guessed that I had used 50 grams, but clearly I had not. Oh, and the rib is a twisted rib, and I believe I cast on, I did 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I did 11. Is that real? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I did 11 rounds in this one and 12 in this one, so that's cool. One of them is 1 row longer than the other. That's fine. So socks are for me. My plan is to get the heel in so that I can wear them and they be my Christmas socks. Now the next quest that I'm on, or next current or whip work in progress, is this sock. So I've got this sock on the needle. This is going to be for one of my brothers. I haven't decided yet. I kind of think, this should be for my middle brother, and then the other one will be, and then the next one I make will be for my little brother. But whichever one, if I don't get both done, then these are going to be for my little brother. Because my little brother is the one that said he would actually wear them. My middle brother, but I figured I'd make it for him anyway because he said, I only wear wool socks and these are wool. So I don't know what he thought I knit with, plastic. But yeah, so these are Regia in the Circus color, and specifically color 03754. And I think they're turning out pretty nice. I'm not exactly sure what size, but I cast on 64, and I'm working on my 9-inch circulars, which are the Hiya Sharps US size 1 in the 2.25 millimeter. And there's my crystal progress keeper on here. So yeah, I've got that. I have a ton more knitting to go. And my thought process, so that these don't linger, because I actually have another pair of socks that are almost done and they just need the heel cut in as well. So my thought is that, so that these don't linger, is to knit to a certain point, like knit to the cuff, and then put a heel in. And then knit the cuff, heel. So then knit the heel and then put a second heel in these socks. And I have to cast on the other pair. I have 2 9-inch circular needles in size 1, and then I have another in size 2, because I like to knit socks concurrently at the same time so that I have both socks completed. I don't really have second sock syndrome. It's more that I have completion syndrome. So those are another pair of socks that I'm working on. Now for on the horizon, we have similar things. I still haven't cast on the Hamel Knits hat. I'm feeling iffy on if I can get that done because my Christmas gift exchange is on Sunday. So I could put a pause on the socks and work on the hat and, you know, bust it out. I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Now, the next couple things that I have on the horizon go with Smaug's Trove because my yarn shipment from Wool Barn, I think, arrived. So I was mentioning earlier about the socks for my brother. This is the other color that I got. My little brother goes to OU. It's green and white are the school colors, and I just thought this was really cool. Plus, Opal in the States is, you know, between $18 and $24. This was like $5. So I think it's going to turn out pretty cool. According to the ball band, that's what the sock should look like. If I place it correctly, I can get the black bands to be the heel, but I doubt it. And then for my mom, I purchased Drops Flora in this red and white color for the poodle mittens that I mentioned in one of the previous episodes. It's in that book with all those mitten patterns. So I've got that to do. And that, my goal is December 23rd, I think. Same with the socks, December 23rd. And that is what's on the horizon. And hopefully I will have started all of them. Because the next podcast would be, it would be the 22nd, I think, which I'm not going to be here. So I might podcast like a little bit earlier during the week. So for Smaug's Trove, I purchased these Drops Flora. I also bought another set for another pair of mittens for myself. So the colors, the white is color 2, the heathered gray is color 5, and the reds are color 18. And then I also purchased, aside from the opal, I also purchased 2 Drops Fable prints, a gray black, and then this like reddish orange. It looked like a sunset or like a desert sunset on the computer screen. So this one is color 672 and this one is color 905. And then I thought for heels and toes and cuffs, for both of these actually, that I would use this Drops Fable Unicolor in the color 110. So it's just a nice rusty orange. I thought it would pick up the orange in this one nicely, and I thought those would look good together. Could even do it to that, but I think that might be going a little too crazy for the siblings. So that was a great deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 skeins of yarn for under $25, I think. Or maybe it was under 30. I can't remember, but it was not expensive. So that is everything that I added to Smaug's Trove. All of it was with a purpose, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So the next thing I want to talk about is my Make 9 challenge for 2019. I didn't make one for 2018, but I figured, or I just kind of want to do one for this upcoming year. So I will go through with you the things that I added to my Make 9 challenge for the knitting category, because I'm going to make a sewing category as well, because I want to challenge myself to actually sew something that I can wear other than, like, the only thing I've sewn so far are project bags. So the 9 patterns that I chose, I own all of them, and most of them I actually have yarn for these. So my goal is to really knit from stash. I'm really wanting to pare down the yarn that I have, because some of it is just in actual Rubbermaid bins, and most of that is acrylic, which I am really wanting to knit through, which is why I feel so accomplished with that hat right there. So for the first one, I am wanting to knit The Weekender by Andrea Mowry, and this one I don't have the yarn for because I would like to do or use the same technique that Rachel from one of the ladies on the Hey Sister podcast. She had combined 2 Knit Picks Stroll Tweed, I believe, combine them together to make like a marled sweater. I would like to do that as well. So Weekender is one. The next one is Wool & Honey. I said that really weird. Wool & Honey by Andrea Mowry as well. This one I don't have the yarn for either, but I'm going to be using Brooklyn Tweed like the pattern suggests. Next one is Threshold by Melanie Berg. I do have this yarn. I have some Quince & Co. Chickadee, I think. So that's what that is in store for. And those are the 3 sweaters. So yeah, my goal is to make 3 sweaters. This year I made 1, and I've got 1 in the works that I haven't touched. So I'm hoping I can do 3. It's on the Spice Market by Melanie Berg. I purchased a yarn kit from Miss Babs last year. So yeah, last year when I went to Rhinebeck, I purchased a kit and I want to use it to make that shawl. The second shawl is the Boho Blush by Andrea Mowry. I might have yarn for this. I can't remember if I purchased any. The last shawl is the Sizzle Pop Shawl by Leslie Ann Robinson. So I've been wanting to knit the shawl ever since I saw Candace knit it, and I also saw Vine, she started it, and then I believe she has since frogged it, but I loved her colors. She had used one of her Edward Gorey colorways, the Mauled by Bear, and I waited and waited and waited for her to dye that up and put it in her shop. I've been waiting for over a year. It might even be 2 years at this point, but I don't think it will happen. So I purchased some different yarn, and it was Magpie. It's like I bought a purple and then like a bluish one. And there's technically 3 more, but one of them I'm leaving blank because I'm thinking maybe something is gonna come out in December and I'll put it on my list. So I just want to leave one blank for now. But the next thing is the Newsprint Cowl by Pearl Soho. I bought the yarn for this last year when I was in New York City, so I want to use that up to make the Newsprint Cowl, and I mean that's what I bought the yarn for. And then I also have the Gladys Socks by General Hogbuffer is what it says on Ravelry. So the Gladys Socks, Jacqueline of the Brooklyn Knit Folks, she had started these in one of her earlier episodes, and I think she ended up frogging it because the tension just wasn't right. So I really liked them in that in her podcast, and I wanted to try my hands on knitting a pair. So those are 8 of my Make 9 in the knitting category. Like I said, one's gonna stay blank until the end of the year, and then I'm gonna pick something. In maybe the next episode, I'm gonna talk about my Make 9 for sewing. Now there's probably not gonna be anything too extravagant, but I'm gonna try to make 9 articles of clothing. For a novel idea, I haven't been reading. I've been really knitting a lot, but I wanted to just share something whimsical with you, and that is Belle's Library. So this is a book that I picked up at Barnes & Noble in the discount section. I paid $6 for it, and I thought it would just be something really nice to have on my bookshelf. It doesn't have it's a naked book, I guess. There's a term for this. But essentially, what this book is Belle giving you book recommendations, and they are all classics. So here it says Belle's book list, and then you get 2 pages of book recommendations. And when I mean classics, I mean Aesop's Fables is a recommendation. The Canterbury Tales is another one. Gulliver's Travels, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Romeo and Juliet, The Odyssey. So, you know, classics. Which makes sense because Belle lives in a poor provincial town, not in the 21st century. And then the rest of this is Belle's literary journal. So pretty much what Belle does, and there we go, she takes one of her favorite quotes from the book she mentioned. So for example, now you know that it is possible for even a mouse to confer benefits on a lion. Aesop, Aesop's Fable, The Lion and the Mouse. And then she puts her own little note. So it says, this passage reminds me of little Chip. Though he be small, he can do great things. And then she does a little doodle. And that is what this entire book is. It's a little quote. I perceive that the greatest happiness in all the world consists in moderation. Margaret Cavendish, The Blazing World. Though it is difficult to achieve, balance in all things is most desirable. N'est-ce pas? Oh, there was French in the end and I wasn't prepared for it. And another little doodle. I just think this book is really cute. The original price for it is $12.99, but I'm sure you can get it cheaper. It has a lovely ribbon bookmark in here. I wish more books did that. Had a little ribbon bookmark there. I love bookmarks. I've been really into them lately. But yeah, so it's got a nice little ribbon bookmark. And I think it's just a really nice book to look through and to just decorate your shelf. Since I'm a massive Disney fan, I just think it's really pretty. And the art stylings are from the live action movie. So yeah, this is Potts, Cogsworth, and Lumiere. And Chip is right up there. Now for the next section is Life as I See It, I think, right? I always forget what I call this. But yeah, Life as I See It. If you've been following my Vlogmas, then you pretty much are up to date. If you haven't, Vlogmas isn't your thing, that's fine. This week, I was in Rhode Island for work, and it was pretty cold. We did some cool stuff though. We stayed in an Airbnb, which ended up being fine. The only issue we had was with parking. She didn't give us any information about parking, and we found out that the parking lot that we thought was ours was not ours, so we almost got our cars towed. And there's no overnight parking in Providence because you will also get your car towed. So that was nice. We were all informed about it before it actually happened. Yeah, so we went bumper cars, or we rode bumper cars on ice, which was just hilarious. Like, I could not stop laughing the whole time. We went to the Providence Athenaeum, which is a really, really old library. It's from the 1800s. It has like first edition rare books in there. You have to get permission, or you have to have an appointment to be able to go in and see those books, but they have a nice little walking tour where you can just see some information. You get a little pamphlet. The library, you actually have to pay, so you have to be a member to be able to check out books. And just looking around, they had a lot of unique books. So you were gonna get, again, more unique old books rather than new up-and-coming authors and really popular books. So, which was pretty cool. It's located on Brown University. So Brown is in Providence. We didn't really walk around because it was cold. It was 34 degrees when we were there. So we stayed in the car, we drove around a little bit. Parking was just not cool. I hate parking. I hate dealing with parking in other areas or areas you're not familiar with, because you're just literally wasting time driving around just trying to find a spot. You don't necessarily, like, I read the signs. I try to find the signs, and Providence, you need to put more signs up. The whole thing about the no overnight parking, there was not a single sign on the road. There were signs that said no parking at any time, but nowhere did it say no overnight parking. And I went on the internet, and it took me probably half an hour before I was able to find anything that said you could not park overnight in Providence. So that was pretty frustrating that this information is just not there. But whatever. We ended up paying $12 to park the car for 2 hours. Fabulous. Yeah, so we did the bumper car thing on the ice. We went to a Korean place where I had a really, really good bibimbap in the stone. So that was really good. We went to the Gillette Stadium, which is where the Patriots play. I'm not so into sports, football. I watch football. I don't mind having like a fantasy team, but I'm not like gung-ho. I don't know what all the stadiums are. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. But we did eat at the CBS Sports something. It was a restaurant. I got buffalo mac and cheese, and it was like they gave me the entire box of pasta. I had so much pasta. That's the sad thing, is when you eat out, you end up with all this food and you just throw it away, because I can't physically bring it back on the airplane. And dealerships, the lunchroom is never that nice. So I did eat it for lunch, but that was just because I had planned to walk to the border between Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the vlog. So yeah. We also went to an Italian restaurant that was really good. They made all of their pastas in-house. They also had a pizza brick oven thing that could literally make your pizza in like 5 minutes. So that was pretty cool. None of us got pizza. We all got some really delicious pasta. And the last thing we did was we went to a place called the Duck and Bunny, which is supposedly a place that Emma Watson liked to go to. And it is touted as a snuggery. So we had to look it up because, I mean, when someone says it's a snuggery, don't you think it means that you snuggle with people? Strange word. It pretty much means hygge, which I hopefully pronounced it right. The Hygge, like the feeling of coziness. Yeah, so I guess Americans have decided snuggery is the word we're gonna use. Unless it's like a British word. I didn't look too in depth, but it was essentially, it's like a tea room. So you could have, they had a lot of crepes. They had dinner, like savory crepes and sweet crepes. They had scones, which I got scones and they were so good. They have cupcakes, they had some sandwiches, a whole bunch of tea. So you could do like an afternoon tea and you could get 5 finger sandwiches and a couple cupcakes and a pot of tea. We were on a time crunch or else I would have done that. And then I flew home, so I made it back. I was in bed by 1 a.m. I think I walked into the house a little bit before then. So I pretty much did nothing. My suitcase is still on the floor over there. And then Friday morning, I woke up, got ready for work, but I had to work, but I just did not feel good. I had a headache. I kind of always get like that when I don't get enough sleep and then I wake up really early. I feel sick, but I know I'm not sick. It's just the lack of sleep. So I stayed home. I worked from home. So I did some phone calls and then called it a day, and then I was going to knit and fell asleep. So then I just felt like out of it, you know, because I wasn't like napping comfortably on the couch. I just fell asleep on the couch while watching podcasts. Then I played soccer and we lost against some high schoolers, which was really frustrating. Not that we lost, but that we were playing against high schoolers who just not as sportsman-like. We're all adults running around. A lot of the team members are 30 and above. You know, some of us aren't. I'm not 30 yet, but I'm close to it. And we don't have as much energy, and we also we're considerate about the other team because we know, just like us, we got to go to work. And getting hurt is more than just feeling pain, but it can affect your livelihood. And the kids didn't think that way. I mean, several of them had cannon feet, which is fine, except they blasted it at our faces. Like, several of us got smacked in the face with a soccer ball from like point blank range. So that was really cool. Yeah, but that's basically what I've been doing. I've been wrapping presents today, and yeah, I've kind of got a mess in my apartment, which I just need to clean up. It's probably what I'm gonna do tomorrow. But yeah, that's what's been going on. Way back at the beginning of this year, I had started a Knit From Stash project. Well, clearly I epically failed at that, but that's okay. I'm thinking of maybe doing something similar, but I did so bad with it that I don't know if it's the right way to go about it. I love setting challenges for myself, but I hate constraints on purchasing yarn. It just doesn't work for me. Budgeting yarn just doesn't work for me. But maybe I'll try it again and I'll just be a stickler to it. We'll see. But like I said, I'll see you guys one more time this year. If you guys have any questions for me, you have any thoughts, suggestions, anything, let me know down below. I started a new Instagram specifically for the account. So it's just a Traveling Knitter podcast on Instagram. If you want to still follow me, that's totally fine. Lulu is Crazy is my personal account, so there's more pictures, not necessarily knitting related. So, you know, choose whichever one you want. Feel free to follow both or just the podcast version. You know, totally fine. Whatever you want to do, you do you. And yeah, so that's the new thing, and I will see you guys later.